Hello everybody, I have a few games to talk about in the future. I've done our pickups videos for the end of the year, and I'm going to start talking about some games we've been playing recently, and one that we played together, and one that's kind of an unusual choice. This was one of our freebies on Black Friday, but Until Dawn. So I went through and played that, and again, whenever we do these just kind of casual discussions instead of a full review and everything like that, can't say no spoilers. We're just gonna.
There will be spoilers.
Yeah, we're doing this just off the cuff. Haven't
there
talked
are things
about it
I
at all.
need to talk about.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're gonna talk about.
Things I need to say.
Anyway, Until Dawn. This is one that I have heard of mostly because, and after playing through, I see why. It became popular on Twitch and YouTube for people to do like playthroughs. Twitch users and then YouTubers do playthroughs, and their audience maybe participate or arguing back and forth about what to do and what path to take. And I can see why that took off and that type of thing. But honestly, it wasn't on my list to get. It wasn't like it was one you heard from someone at work.
Yep.
Said they really liked it and ended up getting it for free on Black Friday. So they said, hey, we'll check it out. And it's basically, we were talking about this, it's basically with a little more physical gameplay. It's pretty much an old FMV game.
Point and click FMV with
it's like an old 90s like point and click, like an FM. It's like an FMV game basically, just the new generation of that, the new evolution of that.
Continued.
With just a heavier emphasis on QuickTime events and very bizarre thing that seems like it should have been a Netflix series rather than a video game.
It really should have, and it was written. You can tell, especially at the beginning. You can tell it was written, and like the beginning is very slow, and it's it's very much like a movie.
Yeah, same thing I said with Alan Wake, to where certain stories work better in different formats, and this, I think, was formatted to be a short little Netflix series made into a video game, but they did a good job with it at least overall. So I think we'll start with talking about our impressions in the beginning versus how they went, because I think we both felt similarly in the beginning, where we played the first night for like just not even 2 hours, right?
I think it was about
2 hours, and then so we played it basically in 3 sittings. So
it must have been 3 because we were on chapter 3, weren't we? Or chapter 4? I don't remember.
But the first night we just played for a little while, and then we went back and played, and then we went back and finished it one long playthrough at the end. And I was done after the first. Like if we weren't playing this,
I killed people that I shouldn't have. I was so upset.
The first couple of like chapters, it's like CW drama, like the annoying rich kids, but not in a good way. It was just kind of like, here's a story where you're supposed to be helping these people survive, and I literally hated every character in the beginning. Like I remember like a version of all these people from high school, and there's a bunch of assholes, and I don't want any of them to live. Like I was annoyed by them, and like I didn't want to play a game where like if I don't care about any of the characters, I have no reason to want to try and get them to live. But that did change over time. But I feel
like it was presented in a way that was more movie or like short Netflix series, and I think that was part of the problem because when you're playing a game, it's much more intimate as far as how like your relationship with the characters, and I feel like it didn't have that intimacy that you normally get.
I also feel like
with a character,
I would relate more to these characters if, say, I was born in 2002 and I was a bit of a douche. Then I think I would relate to these characters. You know what I mean? Like it has that feeling where like it made me feel like a crotchety old man, like youngsters are a bunch of jerks. Like it really just.
I think the way that it was presented, it could have been better. Like if you're making a video game, there are ways that you could have put the player into the story in a more seamless way. I think it was very slow at the beginning. Yeah. And I think if you don't like automatically care about these people to begin with, it makes it very difficult and very
versus just like hitting next on a button on Netflix. You have to physically do stuff and you don't care. But I will say though that as the story went, and you could see that the writing, I will say that they did write everything very true to the characters. Once the characters were established, they never did anything that I thought was completely out of character, like little things. And once a little bit of the social interactive mask, like you always have sort of that character you're playing in social situations, when that started to kind of peel away as the situation got more and more dangerous and a little more of their actual personalities came out, I was more involved with some of the other characters and like their relationship to each other than I was in the beginning. Like I didn't hate everybody towards the end. And some of the people that I really found annoying, I found more entertaining. It was still jerks, but like entertaining. Like Emily was hilarious throughout the whole thing. There's a scene towards the end where they're running down the hallway, scene. And she just pushes Ashley out of her way as she's running by.
She pushes her behind her.
Yeah, just
pushes her. It's not even like just like behind. Like take her and
but
go.
Just little things with her throughout the game where she was in the beginning just annoying, after a while, she actually became very entertaining.
She was
I
very
loved her dialogue.
two-dimensional.
Yes.
And then she became much more dynamic.
Most of them, I think, were very two-dimensional overall, but they still, within that cliche character, were written correctly to what the form they were presented with. So yeah, storytelling-wise, though, it did surprise me as it evolved, too, with it was a fairly interesting play and interpretation on the Wendigo. Like something that I thought,
was so excited.
I thought it was going to be something either ridiculous or something where it was going to be like they're mixing them up with werewolves, you know what I mean? And I think they, in some instances, thought maybe the players would do that and not understand what they were. But I feel like because of where we've grown up, we've been more, I guess, exposed to that type of mythology.
Yeah, I was really, because I was hoping, and I thought, like, they're kind of hinting towards a Wendigo, but they couldn't possibly do that, because no one's going to know what that is. You can't do that.
I think it actually played out well. I did like the backstory. I did like, once you got into it, how things were working out. So, yeah, and I think, what was his name, Mike?
Mike, yeah.
Yeah, I think he grew the most over the course of the game.
Mike. I didn't like him at all at the beginning, and I love him. I want to see a sequel with him and Sam.
As he got dirtier and got, like, the glasses and got his fingers chopped off.
Did anybody else chop his fingers off? I was so mad at you.
But like,
I was so mad at you.
As the game went, I felt like, man, if this had been made 30 years earlier and this guy was Bruce Campbell, that would have been awesome. Like, but it was just I started to like the characters a bit more, even if they weren't people I liked the character within the story.
The only problem I had with the storytelling was that there were huge problems, and like they weren't big problems, but they all added up to a big problem for me, because you're running for your life, you're scared, something's chasing you.
Oh, they're never picking up weapons.
What are you gonna do? You're in the mines. There's wood all over the floor. Should you pick it up maybe so you have something?
When they use the metal pole to open the grate to go into the sewers, and they just drop it and
they're
leave
like, I don't need this. There's a monster, but
Matt has the axe and like, well, I need to climb. I guess I can't climb with the axe because I'm uncoordinated, even though I'm an athlete. Let me just leave the axe. And
things like stupid things.
It was a consistent little thing that was just like, why would you do that? Yeah.
Well, and just the one at one point, Mike has to look all over this cabin for a match, but then like 20 minutes later, he just reaches in his pocket and he has a lighter that he just conveniently forgot about until that moment. Like, just little things like that. Just little nitpicky, like...
Yeah, but I think overall, though, that's a small thing, because I think overall the continuity between the different choices was actually fairly well done, and the different routes. And something where I could see if you were more into it, because I don't think we'll replay this again.
I think I'll replay it.
You'll replay it, you think?
I think it's much more fun to play it with another person.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have liked as much by myself.
I don't think we would have liked it at all by ourselves, but I think I would play it again just to see... Because some of the choices you made, I would never have done. I would never have done.
But we only killed 2 people.
We did. We only killed 2 people. If you've played this, let us know who you killed.
Yeah.
And who survived.
Yeah.
Because I'd be really interested in that.
We killed Jessica.
We did kill Jessica.
And then we somehow, I don't know how, on the floor missed the one journal. I don't know how we walked past it, so we killed Josh because of that.
But I'm okay with that.
I don't know how he missed
I think Josh should have died.
I'm
okay with
I actually
Josh
prefer
dying.
that to him like living, because for that character at that point, once he's really just kind of lost it, I feel like that is a more satisfying ending for that character, him dying anyway. So I was okay with that, and I think Jess dying towards the beginning I liked, because then there were stakes.
Yes.
So I feel like a completely passive playthrough where no one died, I don't think I would enjoy as much.
I would have been okay with Matt dying, just because you forget about him.
Yeah, he felt like,
who's this guy? Oh yeah.
Him and Jessica were just kind of on the side. Like, they weren't really there for most of it.
Yeah.
There was definitely a discrepancy in like how much of the character was in the game.
And it wasn't his fault. There was no screen time. So you can't help that.
But yeah, so like storytelling wise, and then I guess sound and visuals. Sound was. It was a good soundtrack, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Like, I can't remember it right now. We just played this a couple of days ago. It was just sort of like very standard teen horror movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, it was good, but it it worked fine for what it was. Visually, I thought it looked fine.
I think there were too many jump scares. Sometimes
weird little things.
They would try occasionally it was too.
The environments look pretty fantastic.
They were.
The lighting was usually done well. I hate
except
in
the
asbestos.
Cabin,
they were doing the particle effects and like the dust, like when the light would hit in the cabin. A lot of times way overdone.
Yeah, it was like extreme. Big like asbestos particles in the air. Like
there were some things like that with the lighting occasionally, but overall, I think the environments look pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with the motion capture, but occasionally the actual body movements, like a lot of the animation was a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, wow, Shenmue did that better in like 2000.
Yeah.
Like,
or they'd like be like Like they'd be like these weird grimaces every once in a while.
But 9 times out of 10, it looks fine. Like, it was just that every once in a while it would like whack out. Like, you know, just like, but most of the time, so like visually, it was perfectly fine for what
I
it
love
was.
when they pick things up and it's like Shenmue because it's like
the exact hand turn and everything. Yeah.
Like, it's like, wow, I saw that in Shenmue.
The Wendigos, the design of them was great too.
Oh,
like I really
that ending scene was beautiful.
I don't think
that was so beautiful.
I don't think I have any real like the occasional animation thing, but overall, I don't think I have any real qualms.
Especially from an
visually.
independent studio, I think that like for not like a huge AAA thing, I think it's. I think it looked really good.
But yeah, so like overall, like that was perfectly fine too. You know, storytelling some issues, but you know nothing. Like, it was good enough for what it was. I think in the beginning I was really not into it, but I got more and more into it. It got more frightening. I was more interested and I was more invested. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. And as things ramped up, I think some of the things they did the best job with, and this gets into gameplay. Some of the chase scenes where you had to really make like split-second decisions or do some quick-time events.
Yes.
Some more than others, but some of those were fantastic. I really liked Emily running through the mines. I think it was done
Sam's
really well.
With the clowns.
Sam's was really good.
That was really good.
There were a bunch like those moments were really fun. And I think with Mike towards the end of going through the asylum, there was lots of the shooting, and towards the end, like that those really were more heart-pumping moments. Overall, I didn't find the game very frightening ever, but I think they had moments that were creepy and moments that were big adrenaline rushes because you always want to make the wrong choice. I don't want to do like say the slow moments where you make a choice and mostly a dialogue tree for the butterfly effect, and the other moments where it was a split. Do I run here or do I hide? Do I do this? You know, do I climb or do I try and jump? And those moments where you had to make your decision immediately, or you had to do the succession of QuickTime events immediately, I found to be more interesting because they were just again, there's more of an adrenaline push, and it was interesting. The only control thing I ever had, and you read online then that a lot of people did,
have this problem.
Occasionally when you had to stay still. Yeah. It was perfectly fine till towards the very end in the cabin. Like,
well, and before in the asylum too, because you had that.
It felt like it wasn't perfectly calibrated. Like it felt like it was like I'm not moving. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail, and then just about. Like those felt a little off.
Sometimes the shooting was like sluggish.
It was just a little laggy,
weird,
but it wasn't. But
it took too long to get from
But I didn't miss any of them. It wasn't enough to like make you fail. Like,
it gave you plenty of time,
but it was still like it was a little laggier than I'd like. So like gameplay wise, but overall, I actually feel like. I really wish there was another game done like this, or this modern FMV with the choices, to where it was actually a little bit heavier on the choice and a little bit heavier on the quick time, and pull back a little bit from some of the walking around gameplay.
Yeah.
Because there were long stretches of it where there really wasn't that much to explore. Like
there's not a lot to see or pick up.
Yeah, maybe like a totem, maybe like there are a few things in the environment. And the environments were interesting. I liked exploring the cabin, kind of going out of my way just to see, but it wasn't enough to where it felt like there were moments where it slowed down too much just because you're just walking forever, and there wasn't enough to interact with to make those moments interesting. And they just kind of, again, I said, I think I feel like the best moments were when it was like an adrenaline rush, and those kind of slowed it down too much. There are moments that you need to slow down. It can't just be a constant.
Yeah, definitely.
And there were story moments like that where you're making dialogue choices that I liked, but I feel like a little bit less of the actual like walking around. I feel like, and it's weird to say for a video game, but I actually think that hurt it a little bit, the pacing.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it's a little bit more of that was taken away, and it was like an hour shorter. I feel like
it seemed like it was
better.
padded.
Yeah.
Like that helped pad it to make it a little bit longer. And the other thing I didn't like, which Alan Wake did too, is like last time on.
Yeah, but that's the like Netflix series. That's talking about the structure,
to me, it just doesn't
story
make
structure.
Sense
Yeah, I don't
for
like
a video
that.
game.
Yeah, that's not like that story structure within. Yeah.
But what would you give it? Because I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I like completely changed because again, in the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning it was lower.
Like maybe a 5 tops.
Oh,
I really didn't like it, but as it went, I was more and more okay with it. I got more involved. It still isn't necessarily, I'm not like it. I didn't adore any of the characters even then. I do think
I would see. I would totally play a sequel with Mike and Sam, maybe Emily.
Yeah, hunting things.
Yeah,
it's their new family business, but Emily has to show up. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say a solid 7 too. I'd say a solid 7. It's just nothing. It was a solid production. I think that's what it is. It was a solid production. There aren't any like big faults that I found with it. It just wasn't quite to my taste. I think really.
I love the special, or not the special effects, the
special features.
Special features.
Yeah, that was really cool. To get little bits of behind the scenes and things like that.
Which I wouldn't have expected for something like this. But
yeah. So that was decent. I did like that as a little bit of an extra. But yeah, so I guess around solid 7 for me.
But let us know if you played it. Who died?
Yeah, who died?
Lived?
What was your experience? I
want to know who you killed. Did you kill anyone?
But yeah, I'd like to see more of this style where they're just emulating.
I would too.
They're emulating 90s FMV games just with motion capture and
Yeah.
like a little more action heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was an interesting. I'm glad it's one I never would have picked up in a million years, but I'm glad you picked it up.
Yeah, I'm glad we played it, and I'm glad we have it.
Yeah, not a perfect game, but worth playing.
Definitely.